price of freedom is death. We're coming to get our check.
Black personal brothers and my sisters, welcome to the Afro with the YouTube channel. I appreciate every single last one of you all for being here with us this evening. We have much to discuss because Snoop Dogg is going through right now. Snoop Dogg is catching a lot of flack. Snoop Dogg is catching a lot of heat because he performed at a pre-inauguration event for the newly elected president, Donald Trump. And a lot of people feel some type of way about that. A lot of people feel like Snoop Dogg is being a hypocrite and Snoop Dogg has betrayed the black community for this transgression. A lot of people feel like Snoop Dogg should have stayed away from Donald Trump and shouldn't have agreed to anything that has anything at all slightly to do with Donald Trump whatsoever. And we are here not this behavior, of course not. But what we will be doing is we will be asking important questions about the double standard. Now, there is a double standard that we do have to address here. Before we get into any of that and all of that, as you guys are piling in, which I appreciate, if you guys, as you're coming in, hit that thumbs up button. Some people like to do it when they leave or at the end of it and everything. You can do it whenever you want to. But I prefer if you guys hit it as you guys are coming in so more people can see it as you guys are coming in. But as you're doing that, we're going to play this copyright disclaimer so we make sure that everything is under the guise of fair use.
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, is my sound better now? How's my sound now? Somebody said my sound was muffled. If my sound is better now, hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button regardless, but hit the thumbs up emoji in the chat room. I had okay, it's better now. I had switched it. That was a mistake I made. I had switched it to the webcam because my webcam actually does have a microphone. Even though I have a microphone, I had switched that around. It was a mistake. I fixed it. Everybody said I'm good, so we're good. We're good. So Snoop Dogg, after we're going into it, and by this time it's not breaking news, so I don't have to like break the news. So I am glad about that. But Snoop Dogg has agreed to perform. Snoop Dogg, along with other artists such as Nelly, Rick Ross, Soulja Boy, other artists have agreed to perform at a pre-inauguration crypto event for Donald Trump. Now, mind you, Donald Trump was not present at the event, but the event was for him. It was on his behalf and all that stuff. So with that, a lot of people are calling out some hypocrisy from Snoop, which we are going to have to address. Let's get this hypocrisy out the way, because Snoop has been known for speaking out against Donald Trump. Snoop has been known for calling anybody who supports Donald Trump out and turns around and does that. So we're gonna have to say something about that, because that does need to be addressed. Look at this. So this was Snoop. Now, I want this to just keep this in mind. This was around 2018. This was 2018 when Donald Trump was first becoming elected. So listen to what Snoop had to say when Donald Trump was first becoming elected.
So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo ass niggas gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the fuck out one of you Uncle Tom ass niggas for doing it. Which one of you niggas gonna do it first? Osby's the one that performs for himself.
Okay, now play this clip, and then I have another clip to play. This was him, and Snoop went a little bit further than what he went right here. This was after the election, the first term for Donald Trump. This was around 2018-19. Look at this.
Hey, I apologize. Nah, I really don't apologize, man, because a lot of my fans get mad at me when I talk bad about him, but I don't. I think it's safe to say most people in our culture do not.
Well,
rock
you need
with
to
Donald
know
Trump.
that you need to know that a lot of your fans is racist. Ain't no
See,
fucking way around. Don't even try to put no.
I don't even want to put anything around
I
it. Yeah.
do. I don't give a fuck. I
Yeah.
tell him straight up, motherfucker. If you like that nigga, you motherfucking racist. Fuck you and fuck him. Now what?
All right.
Draw the line, nigga. He drew the lines.
Exactly.
He drew the motherfucking lines. Before him, there were no lines. Everybody was everybody. We respected everything. We didn't trip. But nigga, when you drew the line, nigga, start pointing motherfuckers out and saying, nigga, fuck y'all then, nigga.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You and them.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking
Kanye
about
too,
Donald Trump.
nigga. Don't forget about him too. Fuck you too.
Okay. So it was F everybody who likes him, F everybody who supports him, F Kanye West, because we all know that Kanye was a big supporter of Donald Trump. I don't know if he still is today, but you know Kanye is Kanye. So a lot of people calling that out. And I'm not going to lie to you, that's a bad look for Snoop. And we are going to have to acknowledge it. And that Snoop is a hip-hop icon. We're going to have to acknowledge that. But to be impartial, Snoop, you made a strong stance, and this is not Snoop's first time making a strong stance about something, and then next thing you know, he kind of walks that back and he says the opposite of what his super strong stance was. Now, there's a lot of things to consider with this. Number one, this was in 2018. And a lot of people, even black people, a lot of black people's perception of Donald Trump has changed from 2018 to 2024 or 2025, which is the year we're in currently. So you can make the argument that, hey, there was people who didn't like Donald Trump back then, who after his presidency, and this is in the very beginning, but after his presidency and the presidency of Joe Biden, their opinions have changed. That argument can be made. However, I will say for me personally, if you are going to make that, then you do have to say something and acknowledge the fact that you were wrong, or apologize at the very least for the people that you called out, because you was calling people Uncle Toms and jigaboos and all of that stuff. And then now you're going to agree to it. And then we supposed to sit up there and act like we just forgot the fact that you was calling anybody out. You were saying F you to anybody who was down with Donald Trump. Another thing that people need to factor is the fact that Donald Trump actually did pardon one of Snoop Dogg's friends right before Donald Trump left office in the first term. His first term, he pardoned Harry O. Harris, all right, which was one of Snoop's business friends, okay? So Snoop does probably have a little bit of a bias towards Donald Trump after that. Now, a lot of things that Donald Trump has done could have changed his mind. A lot of people calling Snoop Dogg out about that. And I'm not going to lie. A lot of people are calling out the fact that when Chrisette Michele performed at the Trump inauguration for his first term in 2018, a lot of people were saying that, or was it 2016, I believe, a lot of people were saying that she was a sellout, she was a mammy. She even said that her family disowned her. Her whole family disowned her because she performed at the Trump inauguration, and she's not catching as much flack from Donald Trump, from the community, as Snoop is. Now, let me address that for a second before we continue. That's true. And in all fairness, she is owed an apology. If people are going to give Snoop a pass, people need to give her a pass. There are some people not giving anybody a pass, but if we're going to keep the same standard, and as the black community, we need to start moving like that, where we keep the same principles and standards and rules and codes for everybody in every situation and everything. it needs to be completely flat. Nobody needs to be up here and the other person down here. It doesn't need to curve or bend or make some type of exceptions. And no, the code needs to be completely flat and applied to everybody evenly. It can't be, well, this person's more famous, so this person gets to break the code a little bit, but this person's less famous, so this person don't get to break the code at all. So we do need to apply that same standard. That's what I'm about. I'm about applying the same standards, which is what tonight's broadcast is really going to be about. So if people are going to say, hey, Snoop can do what he wants to do, then we got to say Chris X can do what she wants to do. We are going to have to be fair with that. So I'm not going to lie. Snoop agreeing to this, and it seems like it came out of the blue because Snoop never actually endorsed Donald Trump or Kamala. He didn't endorse either of them. And then he comes out the blue and he performs. A lot of people saying something about it. Now, is he right? Is he wrong? We're going to get into that a little bit later. I hope that you all hit that like button. I really, really do. But we're going to get into some of the haters and what the haters have to say about that. And we're going to start breaking a lot of that stuff down. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get into CNN. CNN did a report about this, and we're going to start getting into this.
Are going to be at this thing. And I think it really does beg the question whether the culture is starting to thaw to Donald Trump. I mean, are they?
About time.
I don't know. I don't think so. We definitely saw a lot of people, Sexy Red, others say, he sent me a check, so I'm good with him, the stimulus check. And I understand that there is that crew of people who are like, the stimmy check came, I like him now. Snoop and Nelly in particular are apolitical people and apolitical artists. Like you see Snoop with Martha Stewart, he's like, I fly over, I want everyone to like me. I think this is more about capitalism than politics. Somebody said, Snoop, it's the crypto ball. We got $250 for you or $150 for one night. Come do 10 songs, 6 songs, whatever. Yeah, I'm there, homie.
But
Nelly, the same thing.
There are a lot of rappers who have.
Now, is it about capitalism? Yes, let's be honest. Is Snoop doing this for the benefit of the community? No, but nor is Snoop saying he is. And this is going to be a part, because I got some things I really got to break down. We really got to break this down because this is bigger than Snoop or Nelly. All right. This is about the principle of how we see things, what our code is, and how we conduct ourselves. Now, if he's going to say, well, this is not about what's best for the community. This is about capitalism. This is about what is done for them personally, what is in their best interest. I can agree to that Snoop is doing what's in his best interest. He might have a favorable opinion to Donald Trump. Snoop, Nelly, Rick Ross, Soulja Boy, they might be doing what's in their best interest. My issue with you saying that Snoop is doing what is in his best interest is that same energy was not applied to any of the other celebrities when they were performing, when they were endorsing, when they were on stage, when they was doing all of this stuff for Kamala or for Biden. That's my issue. If you're going to say, well, this is just about the money. He's just doing this about the money. Okay, fine. But then you have to say, when Megan Thee Stallion was on stage, that was just about the money. When Cardi B was on stage, when Beyonce was on stage, when Glorilla was on stage, when Samuel L. Jackson, when Tyler Perry, when Oprah, when all of these other people, when they're on stage, it's just about the money then. But that energy of, they're selfish capitalists doesn't get applied when any celebrity supports Kamala, Biden, or the Democratic Party at all. As a matter of fact, they're put on a pedestal as if they have some type of political sophistication and as if they're doing it out of morality. But anytime somebody does the same exact thing just for Trump or the GOP, then they're selfish capitalists. So we got to keep the same standard here. All right. So that's my thing with that. Now let's continue.
Sided with Donald Trump. For all kinds of, he pardoned several of them.
He was giving away pardons.
I mean,
giving away pardons to people, and that's why they were endorsing
But
him
I mean, what's going on there? What is it about these particular?
These are not the intellectuals of hip hop. These are not except for Kanye. These are typically not political people at all. Like like I said, there's some in the hood. There's this notion of he's tough. He gave us money, right? They're not.
I was reminded also, I mean, back in the 80s, Donald Trump was, at the boxing matches. He was with Don King. I mean, he was in a different place in the culture. He went into the 90s as the subject of rap songs. And just, Gail, I know you're not a rap expert, but
I am definitely
not a rap expert, but something happened in this election maybe where because of his victory, all the business people were like, you know what? Trump is no longer politically toxic. And some of these folks are making the exact same calculation on the music side as well.
They are doing exactly that. And it is an honor. It's an honor to be able to sing at an inauguration. It's an honor to be able to sing at one of the balls. It's an honor. I have a daughter who's a singer, and she was on American Idol, one of the finalists.
Yes, that's right. I remember that.
And she was asked to sing at a convention. And she lost so many friends and so many fans because she agreed to sing.
Wow.
And I just think it's time for entertainers to get out of politics and entertain.
Well, they're getting into politics.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow. Shut up and dribble. Wow. I didn't think we were going to go there.
Well, Keith, I mean, what would you say? I mean, if Snoop were sitting right here at this table, what would you tell him?
Well, I had a disagreement with. Now this is the part, the last part. This is the part I really want you guys to hear.
Snoop, I think a year or two ago, something he endorsed Rick Caruso.
Did you tell him?
He was supporting Rick Caruso, for mayor of Los Angeles, who I disagree with, and I stated that publicly as well. But I think that a lot of these rappers are not the intellectuals in the community, as Teray was pointing out, but it's also a dishonor to the black community.
Yeah.
I mean, if you.
Okay. Are they the intellectuals, or are they the leaders or representatives of the community? No. Nobody's saying that Snoop Dogg is, though. That's the thing. But my thing is, like I was saying before earlier, is that it seems as, and not it seems as if, really what they're doing is they move the goalpost when it comes to being an intellectual or knowing what you're talking about. Anybody who does not support the Democrats, which is why Kamala lost, because they keep repeating the same thing, which is leading me to believe that the Democrats are not going to make some massive comeback anytime soon, if it's up to them. Now, if the Republicans fumble the ball, that might help the Democrats. But the way the Democrats are going, they're not making no comeback anytime soon by their own decisions. Because when you listen to this and you say, well, anybody who does not support the Democrats don't know what they're talking about, you don't have that same energy when it comes to any of the rappers or celebrities that endorse Kamala. They don't have to say anything that they like about her or her policies. And you would never sit up there and say, well, they're not really the intellectuals, but you don't know what their principles or anything is. But anytime somebody supports Trump or the Republicans or anything against the Democrat, well, they're kind of really dumb. We shouldn't really listen to them anyway. They're kind of stupid is what he's saying. And then he goes on to say further that this is a betrayal of the black community. So let's listen to the betrayal of the black community by supporting Donald Trump. Okay, let's listen to that.
Stated that publicly as well. But, I think that a lot of these rappers are not the intellectuals in the community, as Teray was pointing out, but it's also a dishonor to the black community.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Donald Trump, the man who would refuse to rent to black people in the 1970s, who tried to lead a lynch mob against 5 black and brown kids in the 1980s for the Central Park case, who refused to allow black casino workers to have a prominent place in his casinos in Atlantic City in the 1990s, who spent 5.5 years lying about Barack Obama's birth certificate in the 2000s, who came into office and then attacked black people like Colin Kaepernick, who attacked Ruby Freeman and her daughter Shay Moss for simply doing their jobs as Fulton County election workers. You dishonor those people when you go and perform for this man who has done nothing but dishonor black people. And just last year, he was calling Haitian immigrants, accusing them of eating cats and dogs. This is not somebody that black people should be associated with and pretending to normalize. We should be challenging him. And it dishonors the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose birthday we honor on Monday, to celebrate this man.
Okay. Very strong opinions on that. Let's break that down. And I let him go the whole time. Let's break that down. Okay. If we're going to hold Donald Trump accountable for that stuff, we also have to, and this is what the entire premise of tonight's live is about, we got to start keeping the same energy. Because when we were saying through the whole campaign, hey, you know, Biden was a segregationist. I did a live a couple weeks ago talking about how Biden was cool with Storm Thurmond. Biden was cool with Robert Byrd, who are known Klans members, proud, self-proclaimed Klans members, okay? While we want to move the goalposts, no, let's keep the goalposts where it is. And things that are L's for Trump, let's give Trump his L's, but we also got to give Biden his L's. See, that's my issue with CNN, is because when we said, hey, Biden was pro-segregation, oh, well, you know, he was a man of his time, and you got to understand, like, back in the day, it's a little bit different from today, and people change all the time. People change, and he doesn't think that anymore, clearly. But you want to go back during that same time and be all like, well, Biden didn't want to rent to black people, so we got to hold him accountable for that, which if you're going to do, fine. That's fine. But you're going to have to hold Biden accountable for his pro-segregation beliefs that he has always held. He's never taken that back. He's never apologized for that. He's never acknowledged that or been held accountable for that. So we get to move in the goalpost. When you want to talk about the Central Park 5, I think we can talk about that. But we also have to keep the goalpost where it is, and we have to acknowledge the 94 crime bill. It seems they literally will erase everything, like everything on the table, just throw it all off the table when it comes to Biden. Oh, that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. People change, even though he says he doesn't apologize for it. He says he doesn't regret it and says he would do it again. But he probably doesn't really mean it deep down. So let's just forgive him, you know, in case he does feel bad one day. We're just going to forgive him for it. You know, just off rip, you know, just off GP, we're just going to forgive him for it. But Trump is to be held accountable for all of his sins to the day he dies, okay? And we will never forget. We will never forgive. We will never let go. Hold on. My whole thing is we need to keep the goalpost the same place, because when all of these celebrities, I'm talking about a slew of black celebrities, came out in support of Kamala Harris, who was locking black folk up disproportionately, okay? She was locking black mothers up because their children were too sick to go to school, okay? She was keeping black men in prison so they can be used as firefighters in California. She openly said with her whole chest that she refused to do anything. Now, she couldn't, but she refused to do anything for black people. Let's take a look at that. Come on, we got a flashback, y'all. Flashback.
Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
See, okay, now. No, if that's a no, let that be that then. But the thing is that all of the celebrities that backed her after that, which was more recent than what they're talking about Donald Trump did, all of the celebrities that backed her after that was praised. So my thing is this, and that they were doing that during the campaign. Snoop didn't endorse Kamala or Trump during his campaign or her campaign. What Snoop did is he all like, hey, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Trump won, so we might as well. It's not like that's going to stop anything. But let me get to some more of the haters. See, this is why people don't respect CNN. Before I get to some of the other videos, people don't respect CNN because of that stuff. Okay, because we know how openly biased you are, talking about betrayal of the black community, as if Kamala Harris did not try to integrate the Freedmen's Bank, as if the things Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have done have not completely ignored benign neglect and have committed major sins and harms to the black community. which he would never acknowledge. But he's going to say anything that Trump does, we got to keep that on the table. All of the things and everything that the Democratic Party does, we're going to have to brush that to the side, make some type of exception, bend the rule, or all of that. So, no, we're not going to play that game. Now, I want to get to some of the other videos of the haters, because, boy, Snoop was getting some hate now. Snoop was getting some hate. Yeah, he was. Look at this.
Don't be surprised that Snoop is performing at the inauguration. Don't do that. Why? Don't be surprised that Nelly is performing. First of all, I ain't never liked Nelly, so I ain't gonna waste no time talking about that dude. Ain't no loss. But when it comes to Snoop, why are y'all surprised? This ain't the old Snoop. This ain't the Snoop that needed black people to help create his wealth and build his wealth from the doggy style days. No, this ain't him. This ain't the Snoop that needed black people to support him when he was on trial for unaliving somebody. It ain't that Snoop. It ain't the Snoop that needed black people to help him rebuild his wealth when he was broke after he had to leave Death Row Records and go to No Limit Records. It ain't that Snoop. This is the Snoop that is now getting millions of dollars from people who don't look like us. This is why this Snoop could care less about people who look like us.
But you can say that about all of the other celebrities. I'm not going to lie. If we're going to keep that same standard, fine, that's cool. But we going to have to, if you're going to have to keep that same standard with Jay-Z, then if you're going to keep that, if you're going to be all like Snoop, he get millions of dollars from people who don't look like us. Okay, well, so does Jay-Z. So does Beyonce. So does Oprah. Like, come on now. So does Samuel L. Jackson. So does LeBron. Come on now, if we can do this all day. We can do this all day. Don't do like that when it comes to Trump, but you ain't gonna do like that when it comes to Kamala. Nah, we ain't gonna do that.
This is why he's performing at the inauguration of a dude who wants to bring back stop and frisk, which affects people like us. He wants to give cops.
Has stop and frisk gone anywhere? No, it has not.
Full immunity, which affects people like us.
He wants to give the cops full immunity, even though Biden is completely letting them go anyway. Biden and Harris have completely let them go anyway. So it's not like they keep making it seem like it's going to be some major difference between how we're getting treated by the police when Trump is in office. Do y'all know? Let me give y'all a secret, sir. Okay. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people really don't know this by the way they're talking. Okay. Breaking news. Okay. Y'all going to know something that a lot of people don't know. Y'all ready? Donald Trump has actually already been president before. Okay, hold on. Let me let that digest. Let me let that digest to you guys. Donald Trump has already been president. I know. Y'all gonna blow somebody's mind when y'all tell them that. Okay, they're not gonna believe it. So we already kind of know what the police's response to black people are going to be, even if there's some slight little change, or it might change slightly, some slight little alteration. It's not going to be drastically different. We were not getting mistreated under Donald Trump's presidency by the police, and then when Biden became the president, then the police backed up. We didn't experience that. As a matter of fact, we experienced the opposite. We face more police brutality under Obama and under Biden than under Donald Trump. So we're not going to sit up there and be all like, well, what about the police? Y'all ain't say nothing about the police the whole time, for 4 years while Biden was in office. So don't be talking about no police now. No. Because police brutality is a real issue. That's my thing. Police brutality is a real issue. And it needs to stop regardless of who is in office. It needs to stop regardless of who the president, who the vice president, who the Congress is, whether that's blue or red. It needs to stop. But my issue is that you all don't really believe that or want that. You all only bring up police brutality when it can make the GOP or the Republicans look bad, but you don't bring it up when it makes the Democrats look bad. If you bring it up under a Democratic administration, you will bring it up and you will find a way to disconnect the Democrats from both police brutality. That's my issue. But then when the Republicans are in office, y'all find a way to fuse and tie and link police brutality to the Republicans in office, but you refuse to do that when the Democrats are in office. That's my thing. So do you really want it to end, or are you just using police brutality as a political talking point because you feel like it makes a political party look bad to a certain constituency? That's what makes me upset with that. Now, as he continues,
us, and he is supported by every single hate group in the country, which again affects people like us. Snoop don't live in the neighborhoods where cops will stop and frisk you. He don't live in those neighborhoods no more. This is why he could care less about the rest of us.
Neither does Jay-Z, neither does Beyonce, neither does Tyler Perry, neither does Oprah, neither does LeBron. Like, we can keep going all day.
You caught on yet, black folks? Or are you going to let him just make another record and you be like, oh, Snoop is cool now? Speaking of records, how'd you go from FDT to now you performing at the inauguration for DT? Make it make sense. But I get it. When you don't need the people anymore, you could care less about the people. Now that's on his end. What are we going to do? Still going to buy the records? Still going to watch the TV shows? Still going to watch the movies? It's one thing for that person to show you who they are. It's another thing for you to allow it to be the thing and also to not make changes based off of how they show you and who they show you they are.
Okay, so if that's the case, then that means any celebrity that supports any politician at all, we should just stop supporting them. Whether they're an actor, a music artist, or any other celebrity. So that means we shouldn't be listening, because if we're going to keep the same standard, fine. Because I'm not no big Donald Trump supporter and I'm no big Donald Trump fan with a MAGA hat. I'm not that. But my thing is about principle, and you're going to have to keep the principle. The principle has to stay stagnant. That is what is supposed to happen. We can't sit up there and change and bend and mold and configure and try to orchestrate our standards based off of convenience. It needs to be there. We need to stand on business all the time. If you say that's a standard. So if we say a standard is, if you support a politician, if a celebrity supports a politician that we don't agree with, that is anti-black, then we need to stop supporting them, then fine. Then that means we're going to have to stop supporting Jay-Z. We're going to have to stop supporting LeBron. We're going to have to stop supporting Samuel L. Jackson. We're going to have to stop supporting Beyonce. We're going to have to stop supporting Megan Thee Stallion. We're going to have to stop supporting Glorilla. We're going to have to stop supporting Steve Harvey. We're going to have to stop supporting D.L. Hughley. We're going to have to stop. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on and on. So, but y'all don't want to do that. Okay, come on now. But y'all, the hate gets worse. It does. Y'all look at this. Now, I want y'all to keep this in mind for context purposes, that this man went famous. He went viral online a couple years ago for saying that Malcolm X was bisexual, which has been thoroughly debunked. That lie has been disproven several times, years and years and years ago. But I just want you to understand what type of energy he's coming at this situation with.
Now watch. Nelly and Snoop Dogg are not going to have to go through the leaps and hurdles and grovel and beg at the feet of the black community the way that Chris and Michelle did. They're not going to get the Chris and Michelle treatment. Nobody's going to try to talk them out of it. There's some male privilege going on there.
Now, while he's trying to do this gender division thing, oh, that's male privilege. No, it's not. Even though, like I said, I do think that she was, in hindsight, she's being mistreated and she is owed an apology if we're not going to keep the same standard. But my thing is that generally speaking, I'm not talking about the boule. I'm not talking about celebrities. I'm not talking about them. The grassroots response to Donald Trump is not the same way. Our energy and disposition to Donald Trump and the Republicans are not the same. Because what we're looking at the situation with is like, hey, they're the bad guys. They're the bad guys. If you're going to perform for either one of them, we're going to act like that's the same. So the black community's maturity, our political maturity has advanced a lot since Donald Trump's first term. Because back in the day, a lot of people was all like, well, we're going to sit up there and be all like, Donald Trump, bad, 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 bad. The Republicans, bad, bad, bad. Democrats, good, 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 good. So we had that immature, a lot of us, not all of us, I didn't, but a lot of us had that immature disposition when it came to politics. This very unsophisticated, uneducated, immature, naive view of politicians or politics, political parties, where Republicans equal bad guy, Democrats equal good guy. Now black people, the black grassroots, largely don't see it that way. Now we're seeing it like, oh, well, you bad guy, you bad guy. That's how most of the black grassroots sees it. Then you have a few who kind of switched and they'd be all like, well, maybe the Republicans ain't so bad. So now we're just looking at everything from a business point of view. Now we're looking at everything from an impartial, nonpartisan business point of view. So this is why Snoop and Nelly are not facing as much pushback, because let's be honest, black people are not as politically emotional and naive as the black community was in the past. That's just the truth. But let's continue to hear what he has to say. Why he wants to talk about that being male privilege.
There's some male privilege going on there. Also, performing at the inauguration is not a need, especially for somebody like Nelly and Snoop Dogg, especially Snoop Dogg. That's not a need. You don't need to do that. You want to do that. The difference between Chrisette Michele versus Nelly and Snoop Dogg is about to be very blatant. And watch how people are going to ignore it. If I didn't learn anything from being on this app, is that people will ignore your transgressions as long as they like you. They will go to the ends of the earth to defend you. They just have to like you. Enough people did not know or like Chrisette Michele enough to defend her, which is why she got the reaction that she did. But let's see if Nelly and Snoop Dogg get those same reactions. Oh yeah, and subscribe to YouTube.
All right. All right. Stop that for a second, y'all. Here's my thing. I think, honestly, if Snoop had performed at the inauguration 8 years ago, it would have been a drastically different reaction. Even though there are some people who are mad at Snoop and Nelly and Rick Ross and Soulja Boy, they're mad at them now. If they performed when Trump first got elected, it would be way through the roof. Right now, I'm going to be very honest. You're seeing some people be upset about it, but you're not really seeing a lot of community outrage, a lot of community backlash. You're not really seeing that. And that's because the community itself has matured and evolved with our view of politics in general. It's not because, well, Snoop is a male and Chrisette Michele is a female, so we're going to give males a pass or somebody who's more famous. Now, even though people tend to give people who they like a pass more than people who they don't know or don't like. But that's not really the reason. It's not no male privilege. What it is that we're just looking at it like, hey, a business is a business. Now, I want to get to another thing because we got more to talk about, brothers and sisters. We got more to talk about. Look at this. Lord, y'all remember this lady? Oh, here we go. Now, take a close look. Take a close look, y'all. I know y'all see it. I know y'all do. Y'all see it now. Y'all don't have to act like y'all don't see it. I want to know in the chat room what y'all see, because I don't even have to say it, I feel like. I don't. I feel like y'all already know just based off of this still image and the signs that we see in the still image how she coming. We already see it. Here we go.
Our token black men are as follows: Ray J, Soulja Boy, Nelly, Rick Ross, and Snoop Dogg. Y'all all bent over and took it from the back from Trump and his white racist people. Y'all are
So she's saying that all of them bent over and took it from the wow. Such a graphic way to describe people that you don't agree with politically. That they all bent over and took it from the back by Donald Trump and MAGA. Why? Okay. That's very ladylike of her.
And his white racist people. Y'all are a disappointment and a disgrace to the black community. Soulja Boy, I can see why he did it. He broke. He ain't got nothing going on with his life. But Rick Ross, you got money. Snoop, you got money. Really think y'all have really separated yourself from the black people that actually support y'all. Because what Trump and the Heritage Foundation is going to do to black people in America is erase us. And you shuck and you jive for them white folks. Snoop, what the fuck happened to you?
Well, were we not being literally that Biden and Harris allowed to come into this country? Were we not being erased then? But oh, y'all, come on now.
I can remember when you would never let a white man even talk to you crazy, let alone try to bribe you. That one hurt the most. But like I kept saying, you only black until you reach a certain amount of money. And you forget you black, like Lil Wayne. While the black people that support y'all are the ones that's really gonna suffer. Y'all fucking disgrace.
Okay. Wow. Wow. All right. They're a disgrace. Now, my whole thing is this. Keeping the same damn standard with certain things. Keeping the same standard. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I saw this interview with Willie D. He did an interview with Nelly. And Nelly had something to say in response to it. And I'm going to get into that. And then we're going to really get into the points because we got 4 different points of double standards that we have to address. We got 4 different points of double standards. So Nelly did a response with Willie D. They had an interview and Willie D kind of questioned him about, the backlash that he was facing and all of that. So Nelly has something to say and we're going to listen to it.
I thought you...
Now, full credit to Willie D. This was on Willie D's channel. I think it's still up on his YouTube channel. I did crop it out so you guys could just see the reaction a little bit better. But this is from Willie D's YouTube channel. He did an interview with Nelly.
I thought you was riding with me because I put on for my city and I try to bring my city up every step of the way. I did not know you was riding with me because you thought I would ride for who you voted for. I didn't know that. I apologize. I apologize. I didn't know that I had to agree with your political choices. And I thought it was the things that you do, not the things that you say should be done. If you follow what I do, this shouldn't even be an argument. He's the president. He won. This isn't a campaign. This isn't an RNC. I'm not out on the political campaign. I didn't get none of that 1.5. You see what I'm saying? Like to try to help somebody get voted.
Kamala didn't invite you to perform?
No. She didn't invite me.
She didn't invite me either, man. I was going to do all
I'm
at
just
home.
saying. Like, so, but I don't knock the ones that did. I don't knock the brothers and sisters that benefited from it. I don't knock the correspondents that may have gotten money to do that. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because it's an honor. I respect the office. It don't matter who is in office. The same way that our men and women, our brothers and sisters who protect this country have to go to war and have to put their life on the line for whoever in office. So if they can put their life on the line for whoever in office, I can damn sure perform for whoever.
What do you say to the people that say we're not?
And to be very honest with you, I'm gonna pause it real quick before I get to his his thing, right? I'm gonna pause it. Let's be honest. Donald Trump is the president, whether people like it or not. Whether you voted for him or not, Donald Trump is the president. And it's past time that we get past this very immature thing of, well, Donald Trump, he's not my president. He's not my president. Obama is still my president. Hey, all that immature little acting like presidents are supposed to be your superhero. We gonna stop that. Let's stop all that. He is the president. Okay. So this is who the country voted for. Largely, this is who the country voted for. So it don't matter how you feel about it. He's the president. All of this little immature where we are going to sit up there and protest like children and act like Donald Trump ain't the president. Is that going to get us anywhere? No. Even if you didn't want him to win, even if you wanted Kamala to win and she didn't win, and it's time for you to acknowledge, okay, you won. Now we got to deal with this. So let's be as mature and politically sophisticated as possible. No, Mr. Donald Trump, I did not want you to become the president, but you're the president now, so let's sit down and have this conversation. But I'm going to be honest. What this does is this reminds me of when Ice Cube went to talk to Donald Trump. And people's all like, Ice Cube, you a sellout. How dare you talk to Donald Trump? How dare you, Ice Cube? This is wrong. Even though he went to Biden and Biden has ignored him for 4 years. Let's not forget that. Biden ignored Ice Cube for 4 years and a contract for Black America for 4 whole years, despite his promise. And nobody who was all like, we're going to hold Biden accountable after we vote for him. Nobody said nothing to hold him accountable. Only the Black grassroots held Biden accountable for his broken promise and his lie. None of these people who voted for him, none of these people was all like he's the lesser of two evils, held him accountable. So what we're supposed to do, and one of the reasons why I'm glad Nelly is doing this, is because what we should do as Black folk, as FBA, what we should be doing is we should now ignore what's in our best interest. Despite the fact that Donald Trump is the president, whether you like it or not, the election is over and there's nothing you can do about it. He is the president. It's a done deal at this point. It's not a campaign. It's a done deal. All right. But what we should do is ignore what's in our best interest and miss potential opportunities because Donald Trump is a Republican. And it's okay, but it's fine when we get ignored by the Democrats and by Biden and by Kamala, because that's in their best interest. So we are obligated to support Biden. We are obligated to support Kamala, even though that's not in our best interest. But if we see an opportunity with Trump, we're supposed to ignore that opportunity because that's not in the Democrats' best interest. So we stuck in this thing where the best interest of an individual or for the Black people as a whole be damned. It's what's in the best interest of the Democrats. And we're not going for that no more. We are not going for that anymore. Now let's continue to listen to what he had to say.
Not giving you this backlash because of your political affiliation or your political choice or whatever. We're giving you this backlash because you are propping up a white supremacist.
I would ask them to show me where he's a white supremacist, and here's the thing. Okay, I get it. He did say if you don't vote for me, you're not Black, right? Oh no, that wasn't him. That wasn't him. Hold on, I'm trying to think. Hold on. He did create.
I know where you're going.
He did create the crime bill in the 90s, which said that if you get caught with 5 grams of crack, you do a mandatory 5 years. That had mass incarceration. I think even the Vice President Kamala spoke on that part that said that the crime bill played a huge part. He didn't do that. Let me see. What did he do? I'm trying to think. The white supremacist. Hold on. I'm gonna get to it. Okay, he did not rent to Black people. What was it, in the 70s or the 80s? Is that what they said? And like, okay, is he renting to him now? So nobody's allowed to change, right? See, here's the thing. So we can talk about past, but we never want to talk about our past. If we bring up, if our past get brought up.
Now, before he goes into that, I'm going to be honest. That was a very solid point. I'm not going to lie, that was a very solid point. Because if you're going to talk about white supremacy and say, well, you just associate with a white supremacist, keep the same standard. Keep the same standard. Because what I don't like, he was cooking. He was cooking. Because what I don't like is it don't matter what Biden does. Biden can do anything he wants to do. And as long as it is done by Biden, who is a Democrat, it's fine. Kamala can do anything she wants to do. And as long as it's done by a Democrat, it's fine. But the standard is not Biden or it's Trump. Now, Trump is the one we got to make sure that we hold accountable because Trump is not a Democrat. There is literally no difference between Biden and Trump, especially when you consider the fact that what Biden has done has been worse and more damaging and more harmful. The only difference between the community holding somebody accountable and not holding somebody accountable is the fact that Biden is a Democrat and Trump is a Republican. And the black community, we hold the Republicans accountable, but we don't hold the Democrats accountable, even if the Democrats do more harm. So, hey, we're going to have to, we're going to have to call that out. And this is not an endorsement of Donald Trump. This is not me ignoring what Donald Trump has done, but this is me saying that as the black community, we are maturing and we're now keeping the same standard. If one is the bad guy, then both are the bad guys. But we're not going to sit up here and act like one bad guy we shouldn't associate with and another bad guy we can associate with. No, if we can't associate with one, we can't associate with either. If we are going to associate with one, then we can associate with both.
In our community, for a lot of what our men did, we always call it rehabilitation. Yo, these young brothers, we've been through a lot. I know I've been through a lot. If my past was what was going to prevent me from winning today, I wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that he ain't got some fucked up ways. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's why I'm not telling you who to vote for. But what I'm saying is that he's the president of the United States. He's not the candidate for the United States. He's the president. He won.
He did. And it's a difference. Now, one thing that is a lot of people are calling out is that a lot of people are upset that Snoop Dogg performed. A lot of people mad, a lot of people calling him out, but nobody seemed to keep that energy when Megan Thee Stallion was performing. Nobody seemed to keep that energy. Nobody seemed to be that upset. Nobody seemed to be bothered. As a matter of fact, the media at large was praising Megan Thee Stallion for performing. And this was not her first time endorsing her. She was going around doing multiple performances. We can talk about Glorilla. She was performing for her too. And the whole standard of you selling out, you against the black community, nobody said that when they performed. So the standard, why are we moving the goalposts? Now, some people will say, oh, when Megan Thee Stallion performed, y'all was sitting up there calling out Megan Thee Stallion, but y'all not going to call out Snoop Dogg. So that proves that y'all were Trump supporters. No, that don't prove that we Trump supporters. That don't prove that we Trump supporters. I will say this, and I'll turn the sound off because I don't want no damn copyright strike. But when she was doing that, look, I mean, we called out the fact that when Snoop was performing, I'm very sure that Snoop was not shaking ass. Mind you, Snoop was not doing a political campaign performance at a rally. This was a private event that was not on television. And there was no bending over. There was no booty popping. There was no booty shaking. Now, some people will say, oh, you guys had an issue when Megan performed. You had an issue when Glorilla performed, but you don't have an issue when Snoop performs. You don't have an issue when Kelly performs. You don't have an issue when Rick Ross performs. You don't have an issue when Soulja Boy performs. You guys are Trump supporters. You guys just might as well admit it at this point. You guys are biased, because if you're going to call out a celebrity for supporting Kamala, and you guys are not going to call out a celebrity for supporting Trump, then that means you guys are MAGA loving Trump supporters. Just say it. Just say it. You might as well admit it. Just say it. Just say it. Okay. No. Not at all. Not at all. To be very honest, and I'm going to bring up 4 different points why Snoop performing at the pre-inauguration event is different from Megan Thee Stallion or any other celebrity performing at Kamala Harris's campaign. We got 4 different points, and we got to break these down. Before we get into that, I want to say the issue is not the fact that they performed. The issue with us is the 4 points in that. I'm not mad at them performing. They're performers. Not mad at that. My thing is this. Point number 1. This is the point number 1. Post-election and pre-election are not the same. They are absolutely not the same. Let me explain this. When you are performing, when you're on stage for somebody before the election, which means during the campaign, you are doing this so you can sway votes to a specific candidate. That is what you are doing. When Megan Thee Stallion was out there performing for Kamala Harris, when she was out here doing that for Kamala, or when Glorilla was out there doing that for Kamala, it is very different because that was during the campaign. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to sway voters to vote for Kamala Harris. That is what they were trying to do. That was the whole point. After the election, Snoop performed at a pre-inaugural event. That is very different because the votes have already been done at this point. At this point, it doesn't matter if Snoop or Kelly performed at a pre-inaugural event or if anybody performed. Trump is still going to be president. So them performing does not sway the likelihood of Trump becoming president. Like Kamala having Megan Thee Stallion, Glorilla, or whoever, because they assumed Beyonce was going to perform for him. She didn't, but they wanted Beyonce to perform because they know that that stuff sways the people and it influences the people to vote a certain way. What Snoop is doing, Snoop is not trying to influence anybody to vote a certain way or to have any political position. The election is already over. It's already said and done who is going to be the president. So point number 1, based off of the context of the performance, it's not the same. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is the transparency of getting paid. That's a very, very important point. The transparency of getting paid. We're going to be very honest with you. They got paid, they got money, they got stuff. We know for a fact Snoop did not do that for free. Even though Snoop kind of had a little favor thing going on with Donald Trump because Donald Trump pardoned his business partner. We know Snoop didn't do that for free. We know Nelly didn't do that for free. We know Soulja Boy didn't do that for free, or Rick Ross. They admit that they got paid. Whether I agree or disagree, whether you agree or disagree, we can acknowledge that at least you're being transparent with getting paid, which is unlike all of the celebrities who are supporting Kamala with her campaign. None of them admitted to getting paid, to have gotten paid. All of them were saying that they were doing this out of the goodness of their heart, and they was doing this because they believed in democracy, and they was doing this because they wanted her to become president. And it wasn't until after the election where the receipts started to come out, and then we started to see, oh, you got paid, she got paid, he got paid, he got paid. All of y'all was getting paid. So this is the difference. is that because when y'all was doing it, y'all was making it seem like y'all was taking some type of moral stance and y'all believed in some type of principle and standard of democracy, but y'all weren't getting paid. There was no benefit to it for you guys personally. And then turns out, yes, there actually was. There was benefit for you guys personally. It actually was benefit. Whether you got paid in your personal account or you got paid in your business account, whether they donated $1 million to you and your personal checking account, or whether they donated that to your business, you got some type of monetary benefit off of the campaign, which you're an entertainer. Fine. But the thing is that when we said, hey, y'all know y'all getting paid to try to influence people to vote for her, they was like, no, we're not. No, we're not getting paid. Y'all getting paid. Y'all Russian MAGA bots. You're robots from Russia to get Donald Trump in office, even though Vladimir Putin is endorsed Kamala, even though that doesn't really make sense that you guys are Russian bots, but you guys are Russian bots and you guys are getting paid and we're not getting paid. And then it turns out that they were getting paid. So point number 2, this is why the community is not facing that much backlash. Because point number 2, let me say it again, transparency of getting paid. All of y'all was making it seem like all of the celebrities who were doing that were making it seem like they were doing that out of the goodness of their heart and they were all getting paid. Okay. And that leads us to point number 3. Point number 3, acting like the representative of the community. It's a very important point, y'all. Very important. All right? Because, let's be honest, Snoop is not sitting up there acting like he's doing anything for the benefit of anybody but himself. Nelly is not acting like he's doing anything for the benefit of the community. He's not doing that for the benefit of the community. He's doing that because that's what's in his best interest, which we expect celebrities to do what's in their best interest. We do. That's not the problem. The problem is not the celebrities doing or not doing what's in their best interest. The problem is the fact that when they were doing that for Kamala, for instance, D.L. Hughley, even though we all know for a fact D.L. Hughley was only doing it for his best interest, D.L. Hughley was sitting up here acting as if he was the representative of the black community and he was speaking up on behalf of black folk. That was the problem. The problem is not like, hey, man, I'm getting the bag. I'm trying to get my business going. You know what I'm saying? This is in my best interest. I'm going to do what's in my best interest. No, the problem is y'all was sitting up there acting like this was in the best interest of the community. And if you love the community, you would vote for him or vote for her. That's what y'all was making it seem like y'all was doing. So this is the big difference. Because nobody is saying that Snoop is doing what's in the best interest for the community. But D.L. Hughley and them, y'all was holding whole black men summits and everything like that, acting as if what y'all was doing was, oh, I'm ignoring what's in my best interest. I'm trying to do what's in the best interest of the whole community. It's not about me. It's about y'all. But you're lying because you're getting paid, and you know that's not what's in the best interest of the community. You sitting up there acting like you're some type of representative of what's in the best interest when they be having Cardi B on the Zoom call or on stage and they be asking them, or Quavo or whoever the case is, acting like y'all the representatives of the community. Y'all not. If y'all want to vote, here's the thing. You can have whatever type of political position you want to have. Fine. But say that's you as an individual. Say that, hey, I'm a celebrity. I live a different life than y'all. Boo out the band. Hey, this is me. This is who I'm voting for because this is who is in my best interest. But they did not say that. They were sitting up there making it seem like they were out here as activists doing what's in the best interest of the black community, and they were not. Which leads me, y'all, to the final point of why it's a very different situation. The final point is that Kamala was using celebrities to compensate for grassroots support. All right? They were all compensating for grassroots support. Let's be very clear and honest with that. My thing is that we all know celebrities are going to endorse politicians because the politicians are going to hook up the... We know that. That's fine. I'm not surprised. The thing is that was I bothered when Megan Thee Stallion was out there performing for Kamala? Not really. But I was going to call it out because what they were trying to do is they were trying to make it seem like Megan Thee Stallion's performance is somehow reflective of black support. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to make it seem like Glorilla's performance is somehow representative of the support of the black community. That's the difference. Now, when Snoop Dogg performs for Donald Trump, nobody is saying that Snoop Dogg is representing what's in the best interest of black people. Nobody is saying that, oh, Snoop Dogg performing for Donald Trump is a representative of the fact that black people like Donald. No. Snoop Dogg is doing Snoop Dogg. He's doing him. Just like Megan Thee Stallion was doing her. But the thing is that the media tried to make it seem like, oh, look at all the black grassroots support. Because what Kamala Harris was doing, knowing the fact that she did not have any black support at all, what she was doing is she tried to flood the zone with a lot of black celebrities to compensate for black grassroots support. She tried to completely put a whole bunch of black people in the on the stage and on all this stuff to compensate for the fact that black people do not support her. I remember specifically when I said, when they did the whole Zoom call and they was all like, oh my God, it's 40-something thousand black women on the Zoom call in 2 hours for Kamala Harris so they can raise money for Kamala Harris. I think I'm the only one who said, no, I don't believe that. I know I was the first one. For a fact. I might be the only one. If somebody said it after me, maybe. But I was the first one because I was saying it when they were doing it. I'm saying, nah, that don't make sense. That math don't add up. She was just disliked, the most disliked VP of all time a month ago. And now she's getting 44,000 random black women on a Zoom call in the middle of an afternoon after breaking news that y'all said Biden wasn't going to drop out, and he did. And then, bam, y'all got 44,000 black women on a Zoom call in a couple hours. I'm like, that don't really make that sense. What's this, fiction? That don't sound like that would happen in real life. I called that out. And I said from the very beginning, what the media is going to do is they're going to make it seem like Kamala Harris has a bunch of black grassroots support that she does not. And what she tried to do is she tried to flood the zone because she knew she could not get that black grassroots support. So she put black celebrity after black celebrity after black celebrity after black celebrity after black celebrity out there to try to mask and compensate for the lack of black grassroots support that she knew she did not have. So these are the four differences. Let's go over it briefly one more time to remember everything. Point number one, post-election and pre-election are not the same. You cannot say that they are the same thing because what you're trying to do before the election is you're trying to swing votes to a candidate. What you're trying to do after the election is you're just doing what's in the best interest of your brand or your business. And you're not swinging anybody's votes because it's all done at that point. Point number two, transparency of getting paid. When these celebrities were doing what they were doing for Kamala, I totally will be honest with you all. I would have respected it more if they admitted that they were getting paid. If Megan Thee Stallion said, hey, I'm Megan Thee Stallion, I'm an entertainer. I'm not a politician. I'm not an activist. I'm an entertainer. If the check clears, I'm gonna go. Now, I would have disagreed still. I still would have disagreed. I still wouldn't have supported that. Would have disagreed. Just like I'm not saying I agree with what Snoop Dogg did. But I would have respected the transparency of them saying, hey, I'm an entertainer. I'm not an activist. I'm not trying to be a spokesman for anybody but myself. I'm being paid to entertain, which is what I'm going to do. I would have respected that, to be very honest with you. But my thing is that that's not what they were doing. They were all saying that they were not getting paid. They were all saying that they were doing it out of the kindness and goodness of their heart and the love for democracy until the receipts came back. Point number 3, acting as if they're representatives for the community. All right? Doing the whole Black Men Summit, we ain't ever going to let D.L. Hughley slide for that. We never going to let D.L. Hughley slide for that. He's sitting up there acting as if he's some type of activist all of a sudden. He represents what's in the best interest of the community and all of this. No, we never going to let you slide for that now. No, we are never going to let you slide for that. Point number 4, using celebrities to compensate for grassroots support. When you thinking flooding the zone with a bunch of Black celebrities is going to change the fact or make up for the fact or offset the fact that Black people on the grassroots do not support you because you did not and do not now support them, support us? No. It did not change that. It did not change that. So these are the 4 points that make a very big difference to Snoop performing and Megan performing or anybody else performing. And my thing is this: the Democrats are looking at Donald Trump like, Donald Trump, you are this big bad villain, and I am never going to support you. I'm never going to back you. I'm never going to do anything with you. You have Michelle Obama in this breaking news, right? Michelle Obama did not attend Donald Trump's inauguration. She did not attend Donald Trump's inauguration because Michelle Obama, she said, no, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. She didn't even attend Jimmy Carter's funeral because of Donald Trump, because she does not like Donald Trump so much, even though she did attend the first one, but now she doesn't like Donald Trump so much. She will not attend his inauguration, or she didn't. His inauguration is over. She didn't. So she was at the house standing on business, all right, because she is a woman of principle, so they say. Unfortunately for her, she was at the house by herself because Obama made sure he attended Donald Trump's inauguration. Oh, yes, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, this picture is not photoshopped. This picture is a picture at Jimmy Carter's funeral where Donald Trump sat right next to Barack Obama, and they were chopping it up. They was laughing. They was making jokes like they was best friends. They was cool. Obama, he sure went to the inauguration, went to the funeral and inauguration. He wanted front row seats to the inauguration. That's what the word on the street is. Now, everybody's all like, well, Donald Trump came up with those birther lies, and Donald Trump said that Obama isn't even born in America or wasn't born in America. Donald Trump said Obama is not a real American. That clearly doesn't bother Obama that much. That don't make Obama don't look that bothered by it. Now, Obama was out here talking about, oh no, Donald Trump is a threat to the democracy. Obama was out here calling Donald Trump a whole threat to democracy. And then after the election, he's all, oh, never mind. All right, I guess you won. You won this one. So my whole thing is this: are we going to hold Obama, the people who are mad at Snoop Dogg, is people going to hold Obama to the same standard and say Obama should not be seen next to Donald Trump? Obama should not associate with Donald Trump? Or are we going to move the goalpost because Obama is a Democrat? Are we going to move the goalpost? Are we going to say, well, Obama's only doing this because Obama's trying to be professional, and look at how professional Obama is being? Okay, so Obama's being professional. Does that mean that Michelle is being unprofessional? But no, they don't want to say Michelle is being unprofessional. So Michelle is being petty then, by their definition. If you want to say Obama's doing it only because Obama's being professional, then that means you have to say Michelle is being unprofessional. But you see how the standard changes. So they don't want to say Michelle's being unprofessional, but they don't want to say Obama's being too friendly. So the standard changes depending on who it is. But regardless of what they do, as long as they are a Democrat, it's fine. As long as they're a registered Democrat, it's fine. But when Snoop does it, Snoop is a sellout to the black community, and Snoop needs to be held accountable. When Nelly does it, Nelly is a sellout to the black community. Nelly is broke. Nelly was never that good. Now, if Nelly endorsed Kamala, people would be saying Nelly is a hip-hop legend. But if Nelly performs for Donald Trump, Nelly is broke. Nelly was always overrated. Nelly doesn't have good music. Nelly is washed up. If Snoop endorsed Kamala, Snoop is a hip-hop icon who always stands up for black people, and Snoop has always been down with the community. But when Snoop endorsed, or not even endorsed, when Snoop performed for Donald Trump, well, Snoop, how could you betray the black community like this? How could you do this to us? How could you turn your back? You're a sellout. You're a selfish capitalist. You're only doing this for money. You're not doing what's in the best interest of the community. My whole thing is we're going to keep the same standard. It's time for us to mature. It's time for us to grow. We are going to keep the same standard. If it's not okay to support Donald Trump, fine. I'm not no Donald Trump fan. I'm not no fanboy or no stan of Donald Trump. Fine. But my thing is, what we are not going to do is chastise any and everybody for doing what's in their best interest, even if it's aligning with the Republican Party, even if it's what's in their best interest or the best interest of the community, like what Ice Cube was trying to do. If it's in the best interest of the community or themselves, if it's tied to the Republicans, it's an absolute no-go. It's no chance. It's no dice. You throw it away. You swipe it off the table. Don't even consider it. It doesn't matter what's in your best interest. It doesn't matter what's in the best interest of the community. What matters is what's in the best interest of the Democrats. All right, fine. If that's the case, if that's the standard we're having with the Republicans, then we just gonna keep the same energy with the Democrats. It doesn't matter what's in the best interest of yourself or the community. If they're a Democrat, we can't go. It's a no-go. It's no dice, no business, no talking, no negotiating, no deals. No. We're going to keep the same energy. But what we're not going to do is sit up there and support people who will openly tell us that they not going to do nothing for us. Let's play this again.
The reality also is this. Any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
Oh, but she was fine to support. Don't get me wrong. She was fine to support. And if you didn't support a woman who literally said that she would not do anything for black people, this is your reflection of not supporting a black woman, despite the fact that she's not black. So the standard has changed. But no, here's the thing. We are evolving. We have matured, we have evolved, and we are currently evolving still. We're not going to let the Democratic Party set the standard of our code of conduct. We're not going to allow that anymore. What y'all say is cool and what y'all say ain't cool, we got to go with. No. Bad guy number one, bad guy number two. We are going to do what's in our best interest. The reason why I wanted to make this live stream is because when I saw Snoop doing this, it reminded me of the fact that they were like, hey, when Ice Cube tried to do his thing with Donald Trump, y'all said it doesn't matter what you're trying to do. You shouldn't even talk to Donald Trump about doing anything for the black community. Even though Biden admitted he's not going to talk to you, you still shouldn't talk to Donald Trump about what's in the best interest of the community. Biden can tell you no. He can tell you don't let the door hit you on the way out. I'm not going to listen to you. Get out of my office. I have more important things to talk about, more important people to discuss. I got money to send to everybody but you. And you still can't go to Donald Trump? And so what's in our best interest, just be damned. That's not going to be the case no more. In this next 4 years, I'm going to say black people, as foundational black Americans, we need to be the most selfish people period. We need to unlock a whole new level. Our brother Torian says this all the time. Unlock some villainy. We need to unlock a whole new level of selfishness. What's in our best interest is the only thing we need to be thinking about. Not what's in the best interest of a celebrity, not what's in the best interest of a politician, not what's in the best interest of a political party. What's in our best interest? If Donald Trump got a job for you, if he opening up some jobs or opportunity zone or something like that, I don't have a problem with you taking it. I'm be honest. I don't have a problem, because if Biden opened up an opportunity zone and black people got to get their bag up, fine. I don't have a problem with you taking that either. Do what's in the best interest of you, your family, and your community. We're not going to sit up there and go without because the Republicans are the ones giving you something. What? That don't make sense. And no other community does that. We are literally the only community that gets held to this standard of we can't seek an opportunity, we can't have a conversation, we can't make a deal, we can't have a conversation with or talk to or negotiate with anything at all that has to do with the Republicans. We can only do that with the Democrats. Even though we get ignored, we still got to rely on them. We're the only community that gets held to that standard. All of these other communities, they are like, Democrats, what you got? None. Okay. Republicans, what you got? Okay, well, we'll go here. And nobody else face any type of public scrutiny. And that's not going to be the case these 4 years. The next 4 years, that's not going to be the case. Where we sit up there, we got to ignore an opportunity. Let me ask y'all a question. If Trump says, you know what, I want to give y'all reparations, you think we shouldn't take it? I want y'all to think about that. If Trump says we need slavery reparations, I'm willing to cut a check for slavery reparations, you think we wouldn't take it? You think we don't deserve that? Now, Biden wasn't going to do it. Kamala wasn't going to do it. Obama wasn't going to do it. But we should, what, deny our debt being paid back because it's coming from Donald Trump? Man, money is blind. Like, man. I'm be blind like Stevie. I don't know who giving it. I just feel the money. I feel the opportunity. I'm not mad at Snoop doing what's in his best interest. Whether I agree with his political stances or not, or Nelly's political stances, I'm going to say this. I'm not more mad at Snoop doing what's in his best interest than I was when LeBron did what's in his best interest. I'm not more mad at Nelly doing what's in his best interest than I was when Tyler Perry did what's in his best interest. I'm not more mad when Rick Ross did what's in his best interest than I was when Beyonce did what's in her best interest. I'm not mad at Soulja Boy for doing what's in his best interest any more than I'm mad at Megan Thee Stallion for doing what was in her best interest. They celebrities and they will do what is in their best interest. We know this by now, but we're not going to hold this standard of you can do what's in your best interest as long as that aligns with the Democrats, but you can't do it when it aligns with the Republicans. No, not going to do that because y'all all villains. Y'all all villains. So if you get mad at one, you get mad at another. If you're mad at a level 10 for one, you should be mad at a level 10 for the other one. As a matter of fact, what they did was kind of worse because when they were doing that for the Democrats, y'all was being way more deceptive. So what y'all did actually is a lot worse. But okay, I'm actually giving y'all a little out. So it's a new day, y'all. It's absolutely a new day. Today also is Martin Luther King Day. It's the day for our ancestor, our beloved ancestor, Dr. Martin Luther King. Our brother, our ancestor, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And today we cherish his memory. We cherish what he has done for the community, putting his life on the line, knowingly putting his life on the line selfishly for what's in the best interest of the community. Not himself, not a political party, not a politician, but what's in the best interest of the community. There's not too many people who can knowingly face multiple assassination attempts, having their house burned down, having people try to separate him and his family and his wife with COINTELPRO, being threatened, being hit in the head with rocks, and still getting up and saying, I have a job to do. I have a community to serve. You can count on your hand, really, how many people was willing to make that sacrifice so boldly all the way up until they took him from us. Not too many people, honestly. And I have to say, I gotta respect that. Now I want to play this audio. I can't play the visual because every time I do, they be trying to give me a copyright. But I want to leave here with this very important audio.
The very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress.
Can we get some black fists? I got to play it back. Can we get some black fists in the chat room for Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day? Can we get some black fist in the chat room in a salute to our ancestor, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King?
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. Now, this is what we are faced with, and this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
Brothers and sisters, I want to thank you all for being here with us tonight. I appreciate every single last one of you all. What you guys have done, for you guys supporting. We have to understand that this is a very significant day. Dr. King's memory still lives on to this very day. And it is our responsibility to evolve and mature so we can become the community of people that seeks out the dream that he had ultimately for our freedom and our reparations and our economic stability and prosperity. It's our responsibility. He has picked up the baton. Nobody gave it to him. He saw something that needed to be done. He picked up the baton by himself. He went through as many obstacles as his mortality allowed him to go through. And now it is our responsibility to pick that baton up and to finish the job. That's my responsibility. And that's your responsibility. And that's our responsibility together. For me to do that for you to do that for me, for us to do that for Dr. King. That is our responsibility, to pick up the baton and to finish the mission. This is why when it comes to reparations, I don't play any games. I play none. I don't play a single game whatsoever. I am very strict. I don't compromise. I don't fold. I don't try to make an exception. I don't care who likes it. I don't care who dislikes it. I don't care what they got to say. I don't care how mean it might seem. I don't care about none of that. Because I know that I have a job. I have this baton for a reason. You have that baton for a reason. We have a job to do. And that job must be done despite who likes it or who dislikes it. Despite how many no's we get, we still got to run with this baton until we cross the finish line. That's why I don't allow people to play with the whole word. They ain't never going to give us nothing. They're never going to give us no reparation. I'm not playing with that. Because do you think, honestly, that Dr. King ran away with the first no he heard? Do you have any idea how many people were telling Dr. King, they ain't never gonna do that. Black folk ain't never gonna get nowhere. You wasting your time. They called Dr. King in his day a troublemaker. Now, a lot of people look at Dr. King today with a lot of reverence and respect, as we should. But back in his day, Dr. King was a quote unquote troublemaker. And Dr. King needed to be quiet. And Dr. King was going against the grain too much. And Dr. King was going to get everybody in trouble. And he said, hey, something needs to happen. And I'm not going to sit here and acquiesce to the system and say this is just the way life is. This is not the way life is supposed to be. It doesn't matter what we are living in now. It matters what you do about it. It doesn't matter the condition that you were born into. It matters the condition that you leave this world in. That's what matters. That's what's important. That's what Dr. King's principle was about. He was told no several times. He was attacked. His house was burned down. He was threatened. His family was under the threat and target of being dismantled. His family was attacked after he was assassinated. And a lot of people didn't know that. Did he run away on the first no on the folks, you ain't gonna get nothing? No, he did not. And neither should we. Neither will we. So we will all take this time to remember our ancestor, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King on this day, like we do every day. Brothers and sisters, I need you guys to make sure that you guys, so y'all don't miss out on any notifications whatsoever, follow me on my various social media pages, which is Afro Elite on Instagram and then The Afro Elite on Twitter. The links to both of those are in the description below. Also, I want to thank Kimberly for the Cash App. I didn't say that earlier. I meant to say that earlier. Thank you, Kimberly. Shout out to you. Thank you so very much, beloved. I appreciate you dearly. Thank you very much, Kimberly, for the Cash App. I appreciate you. Now, I also need you guys to make sure that you guys, because we're doing well. The channel's doing really well, and I appreciate every single last one of you guys. The views are really starting to get up. The subscriptions are starting to get up. The comments are starting to get up. So the channel is doing really well. So I appreciate every single last one of y'all. Y'all make sure that you guys hit that like button. Very important. Hit that subscribe button. Very important. Hit that notification bell. Leave a message in the comment section below to shout out Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King on his birthday. All right. Send our Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King a special thank you salute in the comment section below. Also, I think I might have a little bit of time Wednesday, so I may be live. I haven't been live Wednesday, so I may be live this Wednesday because there's a lot of stuff we got to discuss. A lot of stuff we got to talk about. All right. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned so that way y'all don't miss out on our Wednesday live or our Thursday live, because y'all know we going live Thursday regardless of anything. We ain't missed a Thursday in what years? You can name on your hand how many Thursdays was missed. It's probably have enough to drive in the last 4 something years. So we don't be playing no games here. All right, we got a job to do. But y'all make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Y'all make sure that y'all don't miss out on that. All right. Now, with that being said, my brothers and my sisters, be one to every single last one of you all. Thank you all so very much for watching. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay blessed. Family, be one to y'all.